Hey guys, this is Luis. So in the previous video, we went through all the administrative tools that Active Directory presents us. And one of these administrative tools that we will be using most of the time is the Active Directory users and computers. So I want us to take a quick look at the Active Directory users and computers and the default containers that it comes along with. Now, when you install Active Directory for the first time, it presents you with a lot of default containers, and each of these containers have what they do. So when you expand your domain name in Active Directory users and computers, by default you are going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 containers, but then there are more, but they are hidden. So let's take a look at these containers. Now the very first one we have here is the built-in container. When you click on it, it displays a lot of group accounts. Now the built-in container holds default service administrator accounts and domain local security groups. These groups are pre-assigned permissions needed to perform domain management tasks. So if you want to grant or delegate control of certain aspects of your domain or network to someone else, instead of using the delegation of control wizard, you can come here and then add the person to any of these groups here. Based on the description for that particular group, the user you add will be able to perform the tasks that have been designated to that group. Then we have the computers. Now the computer container holds all computers joined to the domain without a computer account. It is the default location for new computer accounts created in the domain. So whenever you join a computer to the domain to be a part of the domain, so you can manage that computer using this domain controller, then that computer is going to be listed in computers, unless otherwise you decide to put the computer in a different organizational unit. Then we have domain controllers. Now the domain controllers OU, if you notice, this container is different from the container up there and all the other containers. This is because this is not just a container, this is an organizational unit. So this domain controllers OU is the default location for the computers that are domain controllers on your network. So as you can see, we have our domain controller here, DC1. It is a computer, and then the domain controller type is global catalog. Then we have the foreign security principal. The foreign security principal container holds proxy object for security principal in Windows NT domains or domains outside this forest. So it stores security principal information about Windows NT domains or domains that are outside of your forest. Then we have the managed services account. Now basically the managed services account stores information about services that are running on your system. Then we have the users. Now the users container holds additional predefined users and group accounts besides those in the built-in container. Users and groups are pre-assigned membership and permissions for completing domain and forest management tasks. So by default, this is the default container for user accounts. So if you want to create a user, you can create them under users. But because of management and then administrative sake, most of the time users are organized in organizational units to make the administration and application of policies very, very easy. Then we have the file. Here you can set your options and then you can also exit. Then the action, you can delegate control, or you can click find, you can click new to create a new object. All tasks is going to also bring delegation of control, and then find. We have the refresh, and then you can export the list, or you can look at the properties of your the current selection that you have made. Then we have view, so you can decide to view large icons, small icons, or list details or details. They have users, contacts, groups, and computers as containers. They have advanced features. Now this advanced features is going to list other hidden containers that are currently not showing here. So as you can see, we have other containers like lost and found. Lost and found. Now the lost and found container holds objects moved or created at the same time an organizational unit is deleted. Because of Active Directory replication, the parent OU can be deleted on one domain controller, whilst administrators at other domain controllers can add or move objects to the deleted OU before the changes has been replicated. During the replication, new objects are placed in the lost and found container. So if you have an OU that you created on this domain controller, and then because of replication is available on other domain controllers, and other administrators have also been able to add stuff to it, then when you delete your OU, the new objects that they created in the OU are going to be contained in the lost and found. Then we have the program data. The program data container holds application-specific data created by other programs. This container is empty until programs designed to store information in Active Directory uses it. Now there are certain programs that require to use Active Directory. If you take, for example, Microsoft Exchange. So in such a situation, those data from those programs are going to be stored in the program data. Then the system container holds configuration information about the domain, including security groups and permissions, the domain sysvol share, the DFS configuration information, and IP policy. So information about the domain is contained in the system container. Then we have the NTDS quota. The NTDS quotas holds objects that contain limits on the number of objects users and groups can own. So basically this decide what objects and then things, the amount of data an object can have, as in with regards to size. Then we have the TPM devices. Basically, TPM is a technology that allows you to use the BitLocker encryption. So TPM devices list the devices that have TPM on it. So basically, this is the default containers in Active Directory, and then you should know what each one is used for. I'm going to go back to view and I'm going to disable the advanced features. Most of the time, these are the ones that you're going to be using. And what you have to bear in mind is that these containers are created by default and they cannot be deleted. So we will talk about the other Active Directory objects in the next video. Talk about user accounts, we'll talk about groups, then we'll talk about organizational units and how to create each and every one of these objects. Thank you for watching.